Okay, so the goal of this video is to generate a basic app, kind of start to finish. So I'm going to start off in ArcGIS Pro, publish out some layers, get a app configured or a map generated, and then an app configured. All right, so what I'm going to try to produce here is just a fairly simple viewer that allows us to look at the boundaries for different USGS topographic quadrangle maps at different scales. So I've already basically prepped the data here in ArcGIS Pro. I have three different map scales. So we have the very large 250,000 scale boundaries. We have the 100,000 scale boundaries, and then we have the 1 to 24,000 scale or 7.5 minute quad boundaries. So I've already brought these in. I've converted them all into a Web Mercator projection. I changed the base map to a different base map, and I've also edited the pop-ups. So if we go in here to configure pop-ups, you can see I've already done some configuration there. If you click on one, it gives you basically quad name, colon, the name of the quad, and then the ID number for the quad, and then the counties that it intersects. So that's for the 24,000 scale. For the 100,000 scale, it just gives you the name and then the ID, and then the same thing for the 250,000 scale. So name and ID. Okay, so I feel like I've got this the way that I want it. So I'm ready to publish. So the first thing I'm going to do is just save my map. Oh, again, why it's... Oh, it's probably because it was... No, it's fine. We don't need to save it. All right, so that's all there. And then if I go to share, again, we could do the whole map or we could just do the layers. So now we're going to actually do the whole map. So I'm going to click on Web Map. So we're going to call this Topo, let's see, Topo Index Map. And I'm just going to put a tag here is topographic maps. Again, if you were doing this for real, you want to add a lot of good tags and whatnot. And let's see here, we'll leave that. We are going to change this to our folder we're working in. And I'm just going to share this with my organization. So I'm just going to do West Virginia. All right. And that should be good. So now let's do an analyze and see what we get. All right, so the only thing we got was this unique IDs, and that was just this, so we can just fix that. And I think that's everything. So we should be ready to go. So I'm going to hit share, and that should now publish our map and then those three data layers and a service definition file. All right, so now it's done. So now we're going to go back to ArcGIS Online. Oops. Let's see here. Maybe I closed it. That's okay. I'm going to open it again real quick here. I'm just putting my password stuff in over here on the other page or screen. Okay, so here is my content. So there you can see the map that I just shared, the feature layer, the hosted feature layers associated with it. Again, there's three of them, but they're all shared within as sub-layers within one hosted feature layer. So there's our three topographic index maps, and then also this service definition file. So I'm going to go in here to Topo Index Map, and we're just going to open it in the map viewer. Make this bigger here. Okay, there we go. So those are our layers. Let's just do some configuration first. So when the map loads, I think I'd like to have the index there and the other two turned off for now. And it makes sense we'll put the finer boundaries at the top and then the coarser ones below it. Something else I'd like to do is to make these names a little better. So I'm going to click here and do rename, and I'm going to change this to 1 to 24,000 scale index. And we'll do the same thing with these. So 1 to 100,000 scale index, and 1 to 250,000 scale index. So that'll look a little nicer if there's a legend or just in the layer list and whatnot. I don't feel that we need to make any updates. It might make sense to just real quick make sure that our pop-ups are working the way that we had anticipated. That looks correct. And then we'll turn this one on. Looks good. And oops, the course one. Good. Okay, so we have all of our indexes there. So turn all these off. We might want to set like a default extent. I always forget how to do that. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. I think it might be under map properties. No, never mind. I'm actually not sure I'll do it. Let me do a save real quick. Oh, you know what? I think that you do that in the drop down. We'll look at that in a minute. Okay, so this is saved. Now, let me actually go back into my content here. I think you can set a default extent from the drop page. So, usage and settings, I believe it's in here. Extent. So, edit extent. So, we'll just pull this in a little bit here. And we'll do save. All right, good. So that just changed the extent a bit there. All right, so that should do it. So now I'm going to do create web app, and we're just going to do an instant app. All right, so I'm just going to do the basic app here. This is generally good if you're just wanting to like kind of show data layers. So I'm going to choose the basic app. I'm just going to add basic to the end here. And now again, it's loading a web-based configuration tool. All right, so that's what it's going to look like as when it comes in. So I'm going to turn off this express mode, and we're just going to flip through some of the options here. So I don't think we need to set anything there. So we have our source map, no issues with that. We could add an about, that would probably be good, but I'm not going to worry about that for now. It does have a legend. We don't need a fixed pop-up location or a header. We do a header here. We'll just change this to West Virginia Topo Index Viewer. And I don't know if we can do any editing. Oh, that's alt text. That should be fine. That's fine. We really don't need to do a whole lot. Really, we'll add a compass. We'll add a location. We'll add a scale bar. I think that's good. Themes. I think that's all fine. I think that's good. Okay, so, well, actually, what's it set on? Let's change this to dark. That's good. Okay, cool. So, that looks good. So, let's change our share settings here to, we'll just do organization. Cool. And then that should do it. So now we should be able to do, once this is saved, we can do a publish and then have a look at it. And we'll do confirm. Okay. And now it gives us links for sharing, URL link, iframe, HTML code if we want to dump it into a website, and then we can just launch it. Okay, there we go. So there is our basic viewer there. If we zoom in, we can, again, look at our information, we should be able to turn layers on and off. Actually, maybe we can't, because yeah, so let's see if we can fix that. So I'm gonna remove this. This may not work, but I think we can get it to work. I'm not sure. We kind of need a layer list so that a user could actually, there we go. So layer list, and then let's add a base map toggle to it, and that should be good. And we'll do show layer list. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there I've just made some changes to it. So I didn't have a layer list before, so it wasn't possible to turn the different boundaries on or off. And I also just added a base map gallery or selector as another widget. Okay, so we'll launch this again. All right, there we go. So now we should be able to turn off and on our different layers and get our information and whatnot. And again, let's check out we have a pretty simple 2 different base maps there that we can switch between. All right, so this was an example of going from ArcGIS Pro, publishing out to ArcGIS Online, and then generating a map, and then generating a simple basic viewer app from our map.